Hi guys! Welcome to Steph and Adrian Vlogs. This is where we share our life, our travels, and all the little moments in between. And in this video, we're taking you with us to Siquijor. We stayed at Aloha Seaside Resort in San Juan. The location was actually really convenient because everything felt close by. Our room was around 7,800 pesos for 2 nights. It's a deluxe family room, pretty simple, nothing too luxurious, but it had everything we needed. We had basic amenities, free breakfast, and access to a swimming pool, which we were already excited to try later. For our first meal, we went to Shaka Pizza. At that point, we were already pretty hungry, so we were just hoping for something good. It's one of those meals where you don't really expect much, but it ends up being memorable. After dinner, we didn't want to go back right away, so we walked around the main plaza. There were Christmas lights everywhere, and it made everything feel really festive. It wasn't anything big or fancy, but those simple moments, just walking around, looking at the lights, those are actually the moments we enjoy the most. When we got back to the resort, we decided to check out the swimming pool. And surprisingly, there was no one there at all. It felt like we had the entire place to ourselves, which made it even more relaxing. No noise, no crowd, just us enjoying the water. We also brought our DJI Action 6, so we took this chance to test it out underwater. At first, we were just playing around with it, not really expecting much. But it actually turned out to be really fun, just experimenting, trying different angles, and seeing how everything looked underwater. Moments like this are simple, but they end up being some of the most fun parts of the trip. The next day, we got on our motorcycle and started exploring the island. Our first stop was Paliton Beach, which is known as one of the main areas if you're looking for beaches, restaurants, and just a bit more life around you. And honestly, it looked exactly like what you imagine when you think of a tropical island. The water was so clear, you could see straight through it. The sand felt soft, and the sun was already strong. We walked around for a bit, just taking everything in. No rush, no plans, just enjoying where we were. It's one of those places where time feels slower, and you don't really feel the need to do anything. Just being there already feels enough. But yeah, the heat was real, so sunscreen was definitely not optional. And I don't know, there's something about the island that immediately feels different. It's quieter, more laid back, and honestly just really peaceful compared to other places. You don't feel rushed here at all, which is exactly what we were hoping for. Sometimes when you travel, you realize it's not always about doing a lot of things. It's more about moments like this. Just being in the water, feeling the sun, and not really thinking about anything else. There's something really calming about being here. Everything feels slower, and you don't feel the need to rush anywhere. After that, we went to Tubod Beach for snorkeling, and this was easily one of the best parts of the trip. Even near the shore, there were already fish swimming around, and you could see coral reefs without going too deep. The water was shallow, calm, and really easy to move in. We rented snorkeling gear nearby, mask, fins, and even a life jacket. At first, we thought we might need it, but after a while, we realized we didn't. Floating was so easy, and the water felt really safe. We spent a long time just swimming around, watching the fish, looking at the corals, and honestly, it felt like entering a completely different world. It's quiet underwater, but at the same time, it feels so alive. And I think that's what makes places like this so special. It's not just about how beautiful it looks, but how it makes you feel when you're actually here. You don't need much. No big plans, no complicated itinerary, just being present in the moment. And honestly, these are the moments we remember the most. Not the busy ones, but the quiet ones. The ones where nothing really happens, but at the same time, everything feels right. It's also nice to just stop filming for a second and actually enjoy it without thinking too much. But at the same time, we're really glad we get to capture these moments too, because later on, we can look back at this and remember exactly how it felt to be here. The warmth, the sound of the water, the calmness of everything around us. After snorkeling, we stayed for a bit, just relaxing by the beach. It was a little more crowded here, but even with people around, it was still beautiful. Sometimes you just need to sit down and let everything sink in. After that, we got back on the motorcycle and headed to Lugnason Falls. From Aloha Seaside Resort to Lugnason Falls, it's around 3 to 4 kilometers, and it takes roughly 10 to 15 minutes by motorcycle, depending on traffic and road conditions. It's actually a short and easy ride, which makes it a really convenient spot to visit. There is a bit of a walk going down, and as you get closer, you start to hear the water. That sound alone already makes you excited. When we arrived, there were already quite a few people there. Some were swimming, and some were even jumping from the top into the water. It looked fun, but also a little scary. When we got in, we noticed the current right away. It was stronger than we expected, and it actually pushes you to the side. It made everything more exciting, but also something you need to be careful with. If you're planning to travel in the Philippines, I would definitely recommend adding Siquijor to your list. It's one of those islands that feels a bit more quiet and less crowded compared to places like Cebu or Bohol, but that's actually what makes it so special. After that, we went back to Paliton Beach for sunset, and this time it felt completely different. We grabbed some fresh coconut juice and just waited, along with everyone else, watching the sky slowly change. The colors, the light, the atmosphere, everything just felt calm. There were a lot of people, but somehow it still felt peaceful. Moments like this, you don't really need to say much. You just watch and enjoy. If you're looking for a place that's beautiful, relaxing, and a little less touristy, Siquijor is definitely worth visiting. And honestly, it's one of those places we would come back to again. On our last day in Siquijor, we went to Cambugahay Falls. From Aloha Seaside Resort to Cambugahay Falls, the distance is around 15 to 17 kilometers, and the drive takes about 30 to 40 minutes by motorcycle. The roads can be a bit winding, but overall it's a smooth ride and easy to navigate. We brought all our things with us since we were leaving later that day, so we left our bags at the entrance for a small fee before heading down. The walk going down was actually really nice, surrounded by trees, and you can already feel that fresh, cool air. And then when we got there, it was just beautiful. The water had this really unique turquoise color, clear, calm, and so inviting. There were quite a few people around, but the place still felt peaceful in its own way.
We spent a lot of time here, just going from one level to another, swimming, walking around, and taking photos. One of the highlights here is the rope swing. You'll see a lot of people lining up to try it. At first, we were just watching, seeing how others were doing it. And honestly, it looked fun, but also a little scary. There are different levels you can jump from, some lower, some higher, so you can kind of choose how brave you're feeling. Aside from that, there are also small fees for things like the toilet and changing areas, but it's pretty organized and you can tell they're maintaining the place well. We stayed here for quite a while, just enjoying the water, floating, relaxing, and really taking our time before leaving the island. It felt like the perfect way to end our trip in Siquijor, just surrounded by nature and not thinking about anything else.
At one point, we saw people jumping using a hanging rope. We were a bit hesitant at first, but my husband decided to try it. And after watching him, I thought, okay, I have to try this too. And yeah, it was actually really fun. After that, I just stayed in the water, swimming and cooling down, not really thinking about anything else. After a few hours, we started to feel a bit cold, and there were some small bugs around. And then reality hit. We still had to go back up those stairs. And yeah, they were long and steep. But honestly, even that felt worth it. For the last time, we rode our motorcycle around the island. It felt a little bittersweet, knowing it was our last ride. At that point, we were already pretty hungry, so we were just hoping for something good. We stopped at Jollibee for lunch, then returned the motorcycle we rented from PLS Motorbike Rental. The price was really affordable, and the owner was very kind. Honestly, for the price and location, it felt like a really good deal. If you're visiting Siquijor, this is definitely a place we would recommend, especially since it's so close to the port. And just like that, it was time to leave Siquijor. We were so happy we came here, but at the same time, we knew we didn't see everything yet. There's still so much more to explore, and that just gives us another reason to come back. We took a boat to Behold just before a storm was about to arrive. And honestly, this trip is something we'll always remember. Thank you for watching and for being part of our journey here on Steph and Adrian Vlogs.